Can you believe that just for loving a white woman, black stars who once stood at the pinnacle of fame fell straight into the abyss? One lost everything after a shocking public affair, his career and family shattered in an instant. Another collapsed after a stroke and vowed to stay away from white women for the rest of his life. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. These 25 mysterious, dramatic, and heartbreaking stories will leave you breathless. Get ready to uncover earth-shattering secrets right now. 1. Idris Elba, a fateful love that plunged his life into tragedy. Idris Elba, one of Hollywood's A-list actors, stands out with impressive roles in hit series like Thor and Luther. He is a model of success and style, always shining on screen and attracting admiration from everyone. But behind that aura is a life full of turmoil, especially in his love life. In 2013, Elba began a relationship with Polish actress Nyana Garth. Just a year later, they welcomed their first son in 2014, leading many to believe that this would be the beginning of a life filled with happiness. However, reality was not as imagined, as his life entered a period of unprecedented difficulty and challenge. The relationship between Idris Elba and Nyana Garth began like a perfect fairy tale, with romantic moments and sweet promises of a shared future. Idris, with his undeniable charm, and Nyana, a beautiful and passionate woman, looked like an ideal couple. Sweet dates, loving glances, they truly made people believe in eternal love. But in just a few short years, it all began to crumble. Nyana's radiant appearance was gradually replaced by dissatisfaction. Although she was always by Idris's side, supporting him in every step, Idris's booming career made her feel neglected. She constantly complained about him being too focused on work, not spending enough time with family, with her. The constant arguments, tense and emotional, kept increasing day by day. Feeling disappointed and hurt, Nyana did not remain silent. She publicly criticized Idris, accusing him of abandoning his family to pursue his own passions, surprising and shocking everyone around with the truth behind the glamour. Nyana's criticisms not only further strained their relationship, but also sparked a wave of turmoil in the media. Their story was no longer a beautiful love story, but a tragedy, with deep wounds in both their hearts. Those criticisms not only shattered their love, but also plunged Idris into a state of mental and professional decline. While at the peak of his career, he fell into loneliness and instability. Relationships with colleagues gradually became distant, and he no longer felt the joy from work as before. The climax was in 2016, when this relationship ended in silence, without a proper farewell, leaving deep wounds. Although Nyana was not the only reason, the failed relationship with her left a large scar in Idris's life. The man who once inspired admiration around the world now struggled in the darkness to find himself again. 2. Kanye West's ultimate tragedy from marriage to a powerful woman. Kanye West, with his brilliant musical talent and unparalleled fame, not only captivated the world with hit songs, but also attracted attention for his tumultuous romantic relationships. In 2014, he married Kim Kardashian, a prominent reality TV star, creating a power couple that everyone admired. They had 4 children together and built a massive media empire. But behind that glamour were unforeseen problems and tragedies that made their relationship far more complex than anyone imagined. In 2012, when Kanye West and Kim Kardashian began dating, their love quickly became one of Hollywood's most talked about relationships. Kanye always showered Kim with sweet praises, affirming that she was his inspiration, his muse in his music career. This couple, with the combination of a famous rapper and a media icon, left the public in awe. However, the turmoil began when Kanye entered the U.S. presidential race in 2020. His unusual behavior and statements, from revealing private family information to shocking remarks like "Kim wanted to abort our first daughter" or "the Kardashian family is trying to lock me up," drew worldwide attention. These words not only made Kanye the target of heavy criticism, but also put Kim in the face of backlash for not being able to control her husband. Although Kim always tried to defend Kanye against public criticism, people began to question whether she had the strength to endure and help him overcome his mental health crisis. Kim, with her patience and love for Kanye, felt increasingly lonely in this marriage. And as everything gradually spiraled out of control, Kim decided to file for divorce in February 2021, ending a 7-year marriage. After the divorce, Kanye West faced a complete collapse, both mentally and professionally. His life became dark, filled with feelings of loss, pressure, and loneliness. Many believe that his relationship with Kim Kardashian dragged him into a deep crisis. From a successful man, Kanye now struggled to find himself amidst the wreckage of his life. The marriage with Kim not only ended in tears, but also left a deep wound in his soul, making Kanye, a musical genius, now a lost soul amidst what he once built. 3. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, when a superstar fell under a woman's tongue. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, an icon of strength and success in Hollywood, is admired worldwide not only for his illustrious career, but also for his image as a devoted family man. However, few know that behind the glamour lies a touching story about the relationship between him and Lauren Hashian, the white woman he has loved since 2007. A love filled with affection, but not without its difficulties and challenges. After a regrettable divorce from Danny Garcia, Dwayne Johnson found new love in Lauren's arms. Their relationship was like a breath of fresh air, bringing the balance that Dwayne had lost after the storms in his life. They quickly had 2 beautiful daughters and officially married in 2019, a memorable milestone in their love journey. It seemed that life had smiled on Dwayne as he had a happy family, but at that very moment, unexpected storms struck. Although her love for Dwayne remained deep, Lauren began to feel neglected. Dwayne's constant busyness, with a packed work schedule, gradually made her feel like a shadow in her own husband's life. The feeling of loneliness surged, but Lauren did not share it. Instead, she chose to criticize and complain. The simmering words, like sharp knives, gradually eroded the affection between them. Tragedy struck in 2021, when Dwayne faced chronic stress and signs of physical collapse. A man known for his extraordinary health and physique now encountered serious problems due to work pressure and family conflicts. The warning from doctors sounded like an alarm, forcing Dwayne to reduce his workload. However, this did not help him feel better. On the contrary, he seemed to be caught in a spiral of helplessness and despair, unable to balance career and family. Their relationship gradually became strained. Dwayne, who had always been resilient in overcoming all challenges, now felt heavy and tired. He was not only physically exhausted, but also felt he had lost his passion, lost the freedom he had previously cherished. This tragedy was not just a personal issue, but also made Dwayne wonder, was success worth sacrificing the important things in life? Lauren, the woman who was once his motivation, now unintentionally became part of the pain that Dwayne could not avoid. A seemingly perfect love hid deep wounds, making the strongest man feel lost in his own life. 4. Jordan Peele's love tragedy that caused a horror master's downfall. Jordan Peele, a Hollywood creative genius, has created iconic horror films like Get Out and Us, earning worldwide admiration. His success not only shone on the silver screen, but was also multiplied when he married Chelsea Peretti, a talented comedian, in 2016. A year later, their first son was born, creating a seemingly perfect family, filled with joy and happiness. But just behind that veil of glamour, a dark tragedy was silently destroying everything, step by step, day by day, like an unseen but ever-present ghost. Chelsea, who had always been a source of unwavering support for Jordan in his early days, now gradually felt excluded from family life. As Jordan's career grew, he became busy and distant, leaving Chelsea alone to grapple with loneliness. Although she always supported and encouraged Jordan to pursue his passions, his absence during important family moments made Chelsea feel forgotten. The initially gentle complaints gradually became heavier and deeper, and Chelsea felt like just a shadow in her husband's life. Meanwhile, Jordan was caught between the pressure from his growing career and the increasing expectations from his family. He felt he could not fulfill his roles as husband and father at the same time. Every day, he faced relentless tension, long sleepless nights, tormented by the question of whether he had chosen the right path or was destroying everything he had built. The conflict within the family became increasingly serious, and Jordan, known for his creativity and leadership, now felt immersed in a spiral of self-doubt and exhaustion. The lack of emotional support from Chelsea combined with work pressure pushed him close to the brink of collapse. This marriage did not collapse immediately, but silently cracked over time, like irreparable fissures. This tragedy was not just a family shock, but also a mental breakdown for Jordan, the man who once could control everything but was now dragged into the abyss by his personal life. Love, which was supposed to be salvation, turned into part of the insidious pain he had to bear each passing day, like an unbearable burden, forcing Jordan to face an unfillable void. 5. Taye Diggs, a model husband falling into a tragedy of broken love. Taye Diggs, a talented Hollywood star, has left a deep impression with his impressive roles and hit productions. In 2003, he married Idina Menzel, a singer and actress with a captivating voice that made millions of hearts flutter. They welcomed their son in 2009, creating the image of an ideal family that many admired. However, those seemingly fulfilling years were just a facade, concealing a hidden tragedy that was gradually eroding Taye's life, leaving him with incurable wounds. Idina, a famous Broadway star, was always busy with major projects and relentless schedules, inadvertently pushing Taye into a deep sense of loneliness. Although he always loved and devoted himself to his family, Taye had to endure a feeling of being lost in his own home. Idina's soaring career required her frequent absence, leaving a silent void in Taye's life. The long evenings, when Taye returned home, only silence remained, turning the love that was once full of passion into a wordless burden, making him feel distant and left behind. In 2013, they decided to separate, and just a year later, the marriage quietly ended. The breakup plunged Taye into a terrible mental crisis. He lost motivation not only in his work but also in his personal life. The successes that once made him proud now became meaningless, faded before the pain of family loss. While Idina continued to reach new heights, Taye was caught in a feeling of failure and lostness. Every day that passed, he was tormented by the thought that career and love could not go hand in hand. A star who once shone brightly, now Taye only had the emptiness and tragedy of an incomplete love. 6. Terry Crews, from an ideal icon to a love tragedy due to pornography addiction. Terry Crews, with his muscular physique, humorous personality, and ever-radiant smile, captured the heart of Rebecca King Crews, a talented white woman. They married in 1990 and built a happy family with 5 children, becoming an ideal model in the public eye. But behind that perfect picture was a silent tragedy, a pain that Terry himself could not have foreseen, causing the life he thought was complete to gradually collapse quietly. Terry, the man who dedicated his entire career to becoming a successful actor and a model father, gradually fell into a psychological abyss that he could not control. While he continued to build an ideal image, the dark corners of his soul gradually began to break down family stability. Pornography addiction, a silent ghost in his life, increasingly overwhelmed their marriage. Rebecca, initially unaware, only felt that her loving husband was becoming distant, lacking care, and immersed in an increasingly dark private world. The real tragedy occurred when Rebecca discovered this terrible truth. A feeling of betrayal and deep hurt filled her heart, but she was still determined to keep the family intact. Rebecca patiently accompanied Terry, from persuading him to attend therapy to long, tearful conversations, but Terry's helplessness and increasing guilt made their love an unavoidable burden. Rebecca felt like she was being drawn into a hopeless spiral, where every step was a blow to her aching heart and her sense of helplessness. She decided to leave, taking the children with her, leaving Terry to face an empty house, where the loss quietly gnawed. Although his career was still shining, the soul pain from the broken marriage remained like a deep, unhealing wound. Terry Crews, a strong man, seemingly invincible, succumbed to the weight of the pain and darkness within himself. 7. Omari Hardwick, from a renowned star to a community betrayer. Omari Hardwick, one of the prominent and beloved faces in Hollywood, not only captivates audiences with his acting talent, but also with his charming appearance. He married Jennifer Pfauch, a white woman, and together they built a happy family with 2 beautiful children. However, behind the seemingly perfect facade of their home, their love faced harsh challenges that few could imagine. Their story is not just about beautiful moments, but also a silent battle against the storms of life, forcing them to stand firm to protect the happiness they were building. When Omari married Jennifer, he believed that their love could overcome all trials and barriers. However, he could not have foreseen that the harsh judgment from his own community would become the biggest challenge. As an icon in the Black community, Omari faced heavy criticism from those around him, who accused him of betraying his heritage and culture for choosing to be with someone not of the same race. These malicious comments and judgmental looks not only hurt Jennifer, but also made Omari feel ostracized, as if he no longer belonged to any world. Under increasing pressure from public opinion, Omari became quiet and distant. Cultural differences and difficulties in reconciling two worlds created rifts in their relationship that were not easily healed. Jennifer, despite trying her best to understand and support her husband, could not fully comprehend the pain Omari was enduring. And Omari, torn between identity and love, gradually felt lost and disoriented. Day by day, the distance between Omari and Jennifer seemed to widen. Omari began to feel lost even in his own home, which was once a loving nest. Conversations were no longer natural but became strained exchanges. Minor conflicts, which seemed easy to overcome, escalated into irresolvable disputes. The tragedy culminated when Omari realized that, no matter how deep his love for Jennifer was, it could not erase the social pressures and invisible cracks they faced. In the end, they quietly turned their backs, parting in silence, leaving behind a beautiful but painful love story. Omari, with a broken heart and a faltering career, could only hold onto the memories of a love that could not overcome social prejudice and irreconcilable differences. 8. Dave Chappelle, the top comedian who gave up everything for his wife. Dave Chappelle, one of the greatest comedians of his generation, has established his name through impressive performances, from Chappelle's Show to appearances on major stages. With his unique talent and ability to create sharp, humorous stories, he has won the hearts of millions of fans. In 2001, he married Elaine Mendoza Erf, a woman of Filipino descent, and they built a home together with 3 children. Although Dave is famous and achieved brilliant success, behind the stage lights is a family life full of turmoil and challenges that few know about. Mental struggles, relationship tension, and the intertwining of personal and professional life have made their marriage not as easy as the appearance of a happy family suggests. Dave and Elaine's relationship, which seemed perfect, concealed a deep tragedy. Elaine has always been a devoted wife, always standing behind and supporting all of her husband's decisions, but the truth is that Dave struggled with unseen invisible pressures. Under the spotlight and fame, he was surrounded by enormous expectations from the public and the entertainment industry. Although his wife was always there, ready to help, Dave felt trapped in his own life, unable to find a way out. Elaine worried and wanted to share the burden with her husband, but Dave could not open up. The stress from work and personal life kept building up inside him, and conversations with Elaine did not help him relieve anything. The feeling of loneliness in his own relationship made it even more difficult for him to face the problems he was carrying. Although the love between them was still deep, they could not understand the suffering the other was going through, and this gradually created an unbridgeable distance between them. Things worsened in 2005 when Dave decided to leave Chappelle's Show, shocking the world. This decision not only caused a shock in the entertainment industry, but also made people begin to doubt his mental health, believing that he was suffering from depression. Elaine, his loving wife, was completely stunned and could not understand the reason behind that sudden decision. Gradually, their misunderstanding became clearer, creating deep cracks in their seemingly solid relationship. Dave did not want to let the pressure from work affect his marital relationship, so he chose to avoid all attention, withdrawing from the public and seeking peace on a remote farm. However, Dave's tragedy was not only in his career difficulties, but also in the lack of understanding in his marriage, where love, no matter how strong, could not heal the growing differences in their personalities. 9. Ice-T, hip-hop legend betrayed. Ice-T, a legend of hip-hop, rose from difficult beginnings to conquer the heights of his career with sharp raps and undeniable talent. When he met Nicole Coco Austin in 2002, Ice-T's life seemed to turn a new page full of light and happiness. Coco, a model and actress famous for her sensual appearance, quickly won his heart and became his beloved wife. Together, they built a home and welcomed their first daughter in 2015. Despite a significant age gap, their relationship still attracted constant attention from the public and the media, always a topic of discussion and admiration. Everything began on a fateful evening in 2013, when the flashbulbs of paparazzi flashed like thunder. Coco, the wife Ice-T loved dearly, was caught being intimate with another rapper at a lavish party. The news spread like wildfire, at the speed of a violent storm. A media spectacle was created, every word, every photo, digging deeper into the image of happiness that Ice-T and Coco had portrayed to the public. Ice-T, who had always stood firm against life's storms, now felt as if an invisible sword had pierced his heart. The betrayal not only caused him pain but also thrust him into the harsh spotlight of public scrutiny. The scrutinizing eyes, the questions like knives twisting in his heart, forced him to face the bitter truth: trust and love can shatter in an instant. The fortress he had defended with his life now lay in ashes within him. Ice-T's life began to falter as he faced overwhelming disappointment, weighed down even more by doubts about his relationship. Every time he appeared in public, he felt surrounded by judgmental gazes, scrutiny from all sides. Unceasing questions echoed in his mind. Could this relationship continue? Did the love between him and Coco have enough strength to overcome the heartache she had caused? However, contrary to what everyone imagined, Coco did not give up. She publicly apologized, constantly striving and doing everything possible to mend the broken relationship. Ice-T, despite his aching heart, finally decided to give Coco a second chance, with the hope that love could overcome the suffering. But the big question remained: could their relationship fully recover, or were the wounds too deep to heal? 10. Michael Jordan, basketball legend facing a challenging marriage. Michael Jordan, the basketball legend, not only excelled on the court but also built a powerful empire outside of sports. After a long marriage with Juanita Vanoy, he married Yvette Prieto, a Cuban-American model, in 2013, seemingly finding perfect happiness. However, behind that facade lies a little-known tragedy. The story began quietly, like an undercurrent beneath the sea. Yvette Prieto, the beautiful wife whom Michael once loved wholeheartedly, gradually changed. The initially small requests quickly turned into increasingly heavy demands. She asked him to give up his work, put aside his lifelong passion to dedicate himself entirely to the family. But those desires did not stop there. Yvette constantly put pressure on Michael, forcing him to live according to the patterns she set, making him feel like he was imprisoned in a foreign life. Every day that passed, the tension in that house was like taut guitar strings, ready to snap at any moment. Michael, a legend who had overcome countless challenges on the court, now felt bewildered by a silent but no less fierce battle in his own home. Behind the luxurious walls, he did not find the happiness he had longed for, only endless storms. The constant arguments, the incessant demands from his wife made Michael feel trapped in a hopeless trap. Despite having everything, career, health, his spirit began to weaken. He was no longer the strong, passionate man, but gradually became a shadow of himself. The relationship with Yvette, although without public conflicts, was a silent tragedy where Michael had to trade the moments of triumph on the basketball court to pay the price for the imbalance in his personal life. 11. Donald Glover, a creative legend torn between career and family. Donald Glover, also known as Childish Gambino, is a major figure in the entertainment industry, possessing a diverse career spanning music, acting, directing, and producing. He is a model of boundless creativity, constantly challenging limits in every field. However, behind the glamour is a story full of pain and things that not everyone understands. His relationship with Michelle White, a white woman, was not a simple or rosy relationship as people often think. The relationship between Donald and Michelle began in love, but quickly became a challenging and thorny path. From the day they went public, Donald endured constant criticism from both the black community and fans. They could not accept that he, a powerful cultural icon, loved a white woman. The pressure from both sides pushed Donald into a situation as if he was being torn apart between two opposing worlds: family and community, love and career. However, the real tragedy did not lie in the external opposition, but in the growing distance between him and Michelle. Despite loving him and living with him for many years, Michelle could not feel Donald's inner struggles. She did not understand the fatigue he endured when facing cultural conflicts and prejudices. This lack of understanding fueled endless arguments, making Donald feel isolated in his own home. Gradually, the love that was once a source of motivation now became an endless battle, eroding his spirit every day. That fatigue not only harmed Donald Glover's mental health, but also made him face stagnation in his creative career. The projects he was once passionate about now became soulless, lacking the initial vitality and enthusiasm. The love for his family, for his children, for his private life began to become a burden, dragging him into a vicious cycle where everything became blurred and difficult to escape. Donald Glover's tragedy did not lie in external failures, but in his constant internal struggle, where family love and creative career could not find common ground, forcing him to face a division between two irreconcilable worlds. 12. Wesley Snipes, career ruined because of a relationship with Jennifer Lopez. Wesley Snipes, the legendary action star of Hollywood in the 1990s, was once one of the most sought-after and beloved names on screen. But behind the glamour was a tragic story. His relationship with Jennifer Lopez, one of Hollywood's brightest stars, became a fateful turning point in his life, pushing Wesley down a path from which it was difficult to return. The arguments and irreconcilable differences in this relationship contributed to eroding his career, causing a promising star to gradually fall into darkness. In the early 1990s, Wesley and Jennifer were Hollywood's golden couple, but the external glamour did not hide the internal turmoil. As Jennifer's career soared, her ambition gradually created distance between them. Jennifer did not want to be just Wesley's girlfriend, and her prominence made him feel like a faint shadow, always overshadowed in the public eye. Every time they appeared, the flashbulbs and praise all focused on Jennifer, leaving Wesley with a feeling of being forgotten. This made him lonely and hurt, even though they were still together. Heated arguments began to erupt, and the lack of empathy from Jennifer only deepened the cracks in the relationship. In the end, not only did their relationship break down, but Wesley's confidence and career also suffered heavily. After breaking up with Jennifer Lopez, Wesley Snipes seemed to lose an important part of himself. Losing love and emotional support made him unable to focus on his work. Big opportunities in his career gradually slipped away, and he entered a dark period when his career also began an irreversible decline. While Lopez continued to shine brightly, Wesley faced failure and loneliness, unable to escape his own darkness. 13. Kevin Hart, an affair with white women. Kevin Hart, the renowned comedy star of Hollywood, rose from a performer on small stages to become an icon in blockbuster films. However, behind the laughter he brings is a life full of turmoil. The breakdown of his relationship with his wife Torrey Hart after his affair with a white woman became a dark turning point in his life. The mistakes in his love life significantly impacted Kevin Hart's career and personal life. The relationship between Kevin and Torrey began in 2003, seemingly destined to be a love story that would endure over time. However, in 2009, when Kevin's career reached its peak, he met a completely different woman. She was a prominent model with captivating beauty and irresistible charm. She took the initiative to approach Kevin, and from there, a clandestine relationship quickly blossomed. While Torrey was still devoted to taking care of the family, Kevin lost his way in secret encounters, drawn to the novelty and attraction that the woman brought. Kevin Hart's tragedy began in 2011 when the extramarital affair was exposed. Torrey, the wife who had always accompanied him through ups and downs, could not accept this betrayal. The feeling of being betrayed was like a knife stabbing deep into her heart, and Torrey decided to divorce, a decision that shocked Kevin. The relationship with the white woman not only broke his family, but also plunged Kevin's career into crisis. He was criticized by the public, and the image of a humorous man that everyone loved collapsed. The previous brilliant successes became painful memories, and Kevin not only lost his wife, but also lost a large part of his career and spirit. Despite trying to get back on his feet, the pain from that betrayal always followed Kevin, haunting him for the rest of his life. 14. Jamie Foxx, love shock with Katie Holmes and a vow to avoid white women. Jamie Foxx, a talented Hollywood star with a brilliant career in both acting and music, was once a role model admired by many. However, behind the glamour is a major tragedy he had to endure: his relationship with Katie Holmes, which lasted from 2013 to 2019, became an emotional shock that Jamie could not forget. This relationship, although always kept secret, when the truth was revealed, made Jamie face difficulties he never anticipated. Those emotional upheavals deeply affected his life and career. The love affair between Jamie and Katie was always kept secret, without any official announcement, but every time they appeared together, they exuded the happiness of a couple in love. However, tragedy struck in 2023 when Jamie suddenly suffered a serious stroke. While he was struggling with his illness, he gradually realized the growing distance between himself and Katie, the person he once believed would always be by his side in the most difficult times. Their relationship became strained, and when Jamie recovered, the love had also broken down. In 2024, during a comedy show on Netflix, Jamie Foxx joked that he would not date white women anymore. Although it was just a joke, hidden deep inside was the pain, disappointment, and hurt he had experienced. It was not just an emotional loss, but also a feeling of being betrayed during the most difficult period of his life. Jamie's tragedy came not only from the challenges with his health, but also from the breakdown in love, a psychological shock that he could not easily overcome, forcing him to live with an unhealable emotional wound. 15. Charles Barkley, 30 years of pain due to racial differences. Charles Barkley, the NBA basketball legend, with his strength and determination on the court, left a deep mark in sports history. However, few know that his life off the court was also full of struggles, especially in his relationship with Maureen Blumhardt, his white wife. In 1989, Charles married Maureen, despite harsh criticism from a segment of the public regarding their interracial relationship. Although their love was very strong, they could not avoid harsh challenges. After retiring, Charles sought new opportunities in the television industry but faced a serious psychological crisis. Even though Maureen always stood by him, Charles still felt left behind, lacking the understanding and sharing he desired. Wounds from the past, both physical and emotional, gradually pushed him into a state of loneliness, and no matter how deep the love was, it could not salvage the breakdown. Frank conversations between Charles and Maureen only revealed the distance between them. Charles had to admit that he felt left behind in his own relationship. This relationship was not lacking in love, but it lacked empathy, as Maureen could not understand the pressures and pain that Charles faced, especially when he always had to balance his career and personal life. 16. Seal, a perfect marriage turned into a painful tragedy. Seal, with his powerful and soulful voice, has always been a shining star in the international music scene. In 2005, he married supermodel Heidi Klum, a woman as beautiful as a dream and also an icon in the fashion world. Their love was admired as a perfect combination of talent and beauty, along with 4 lovely children, including Heidi's daughter from a previous relationship whom Seal adopted. However, behind that happy facade was an unseen tragedy, an underlying struggle that only those involved could understand. Although Seal and Heidi's relationship was once seen as a fairy tale, the separation that began in 2012 and officially ended in 2014 was not simply because love had faded. A deep tragedy gradually formed from irreconcilable differences between them. Heidi, with her busy career and ever-increasing fame, gradually became distant, making Seal feel like he was being left behind in his own relationship. Every time Heidi went on tour, every event she attended, Seal felt even more lonely, his heart growing emptier, even though they tried to maintain a connection. Seal always had deep love for Heidi, but the lack of sharing and empathy from her gradually faded this relationship. Although love and beautiful memories were still abundant, they eventually became a mental burden for him. In the end, he had to face the deep pain in his heart, for having given his whole heart to a love that could not be saved. 17. Chris Rock, marriage broken due to infidelity. Chris Rock, one of the greatest comedians of his generation, has lived a life full of both triumphs and tragedies. Married to Malak Compton Rock in 1996, he thought he would have a happy and complete family. 2 beautiful daughters, a thriving career, everything seemed perfect. However, that dream of happiness quickly shattered when difficulties and tensions in the relationship began to surface. Although they had shared many beautiful years together, in the end, the breakdown in their love was something no one wanted. Despite having everything in his hands, Chris could not maintain fidelity in his relationship. He admitted that he had made a serious mistake by not keeping his vows to Malak, and personal issues such as pornography addiction and psychological crises further pushed the relationship to the brink of collapse. In particular, secret dates with white women throughout the marriage were the decisive factor that caused everything to fall apart. Malak, a devoted and loving wife, could not continue to endure it and decided to divorce in 2016. Chris Rock's tragedy was not just the loss of his wife. The consequences of his mistakes in love led to a breakdown not only in his family but also in his own soul. Although Chris's career continued to develop, the pain from the betrayal could not be erased. Rumors about extramarital affairs with white lovers made him feel like he was trapped in unforgivable mistakes. Losing his family, losing the respect of loved ones, and above all, the loss of himself, Chris had to face a painful reality: professional success could not heal the deep emotional wounds he created himself. 18. Sidney Poitier, the tragedy of marriage to a white actress. Sidney Poitier, the Bahamian-American film legend, with a brilliant career and indelible contributions to Hollywood history, lived a life full of glory. However, behind that glamour was a little-known family tragedy. In 1976, he married Joanna Shimkus, a Canadian actress of Lithuanian descent, and their relationship seemed like a fairy tale love story. But beneath that perfect exterior lay simmering cracks, impossible to mend. After many years of living together, Sidney Poitier began to realize that his relationship with Joanna was not as simple as he thought. Although his acting and directing career flourished, his family life fell into crisis. Joanna, although an ideal wife in many people's eyes, felt lonely and tired inside. Differences in culture and unshared desires increasingly created distance between them. The time Sidney spent on work gradually made him forget to give his wife adequate attention and love, making the relationship cold and distant. Joanna, in her growing loneliness, sought solace in extramarital affairs. Sidney, although a devoted family man, failed to recognize the change in his wife. When Joanna's betrayal was discovered, Sidney was plunged into a deep emotional crisis. Although the problem stemmed from neglect in the relationship, it cannot be denied that the hurt he suffered would forever be an indelible scar in Sidney's mind and life. 19. Tiger Woods, golf legend destroyed by an affair scandal. Tiger Woods, a legendary name in golf, who was once an icon of perfection in sports, has experienced a life full of turmoil and tragedy. Married to Ellen Nordegren, a former Swedish model, in 2004, Woods seemed to have it all: a happy family, a brilliant career, and a solid financial empire. However, behind that perfect picture, a dark secret was silently shattering everything, and Woods' mistakes began to surface. His marriage, once thought to be rock solid, now faced inevitable collapse. Despite being a legend in golf, Tiger Woods could not resist temptations outside his marriage. He began extramarital affairs with other women. Although these encounters were kept secret, they could not remain hidden forever. In 2009, Woods' cheating scandal was exposed when a white woman publicly revealed her relationship with him, plunging his life into chaos. This not only hurt his family, but also seriously damaged the image and career of one of the greatest golfers of all time. Everything collapsed quickly. Sponsorship deals worth millions of dollars were canceled, causing Woods to lose approximately $22 million in 2010. His reputation and standing in the sports world were also severely shaken. Ellen, deeply hurt by the betrayal, decided to divorce. In the end, Woods lost everything, from his family and career to the trust of his fans. The unforgivable mistakes prevented him from recovering, plunging him into pain and mental breakdown. 20. Serena Williams, tennis legend dragged into marital tragedy with a white person. Serena Williams, a name synonymous with power and success on the tennis court, has conquered every peak in the sports world. However, behind that brilliant aura is a personal struggle, a silent battle in her marriage to Alexis Ohanian, co-founder of Reddit. Despite achieving great success in her career, her relationship with Alexis was not easy. Serena's married life faced many challenges, as disagreements and personal difficulties gradually overshadowed the joy in their love. Serena and Alexis's love story began like a fairy tale. They met in 2015, had a grand wedding in 2017, and welcomed their adorable daughter, Olympia. Everything seemed perfect, but the reality was not so simple. While Serena devoted her youth to her tennis career, the pressure from her marriage made her feel lost. After giving birth, Serena faced serious medical complications. Constant surgeries and prolonged pain exhausted her both physically and mentally. Meanwhile, Alexis, although a loving husband, could not meet Serena's expectations. Differences in their viewpoints and individual desires further created distance in their relationship. Serena, who was a strong woman, now felt lost within her own family. The marital stress quickly affected Serena's performance. She was no longer an invincible warrior on the tennis court, but a woman struggling with pain and pressure from her personal life. Alexis continued his career, but for Serena, everything seemed frozen in a tiring, inescapable cycle. Her relationship with Alexis, once thought to be a motivation for her to rise, gradually became a burden, dragging this legend into a persistent tragedy. The marital tension and unshareable worries made Serena feel trapped in her own emotional life. A powerful Serena, who once shook the tennis world, was now defeated by internal struggles, unseen pain. 21. Eddie Murphy, comedy legend submerged in a tearful tragedy. Eddie Murphy, a Hollywood comedy legend, has made a name for himself with blockbuster films and unforgettable performances. He is considered an icon of laughter and creativity. However, behind that success is a painful love story with model Paige Butcher, which initially seemed like a dream romance. Unforeseen tensions and disagreements gradually stifled their love, plunging Eddie's life into a series of uncontrollable events. The seemingly perfect relationship became an invisible burden, fading the joy in his career. Since meeting Paige in 2012, Eddie has been completely captivated by this beautiful woman. The combination of a talented comedian and a famous model seemed like a perfect Hollywood dream. They got engaged in 2018 and held a private wedding in 2024, after more than a decade together. However, behind that perfect exterior lies a hidden tragedy, threatening to shatter everything. Paige, with her captivating beauty, was not only a source of inspiration but also the cause of constant conflicts in Eddie's life. Demands for a luxurious lifestyle, coupled with pressure to spend more time with family, gradually made Paige the center of every argument. Eddie, who once dominated major comedy stages, began turning down lucrative contracts to please the woman he loved. His career, which was at its peak, suddenly plummeted. New films no longer received attention, and major contracts were canceled due to Eddie's constant absences. His glorious comedy career was now put on hold because of Paige's demands. The conflict between the two deepened, leading to emotional damage that prevented Eddie from finding himself again. The marriage to Paige Butcher, although starting with great promise, became the end of a glorious part of Eddie Murphy's career. That sweet love could not prevent deep rifts, and from then on, Eddie's career began to decline sharply. Sadly, the legend who once brought so much laughter to the world now had to endure a breakdown, not from external opponents, but from the woman he once loved wholeheartedly. 22. Richard Pryor, comedy legend and a bloody tragedy. Richard Pryor, a comedy and film legend, left an indelible mark on audiences, but behind that brilliant career were tragedies and broken relationships. With 7 marriages and numerous tumultuous relationships, Pryor carried a legacy that was both glorious and tearful. However, his relationship with Jennifer Lee, a white woman who he married twice, was one of the most painful chapters in his life, suddenly submerging the joys and glories of a legend in unhappiness. In 1981, Pryor married Jennifer Lee while his career was at its peak. Blockbuster films and famous comedy shows propelled him to legendary status in the entertainment industry. However, Pryor's personal life was the complete opposite. He struggled with drug addiction, severe depression, and a depleted spirit. Jennifer tirelessly tried to save Pryor from this nightmare, but all her efforts quickly turned to despair as Pryor continued to fall into the spiral of drugs and emotional abuse. The tragedy reached its climax in 1980 when, in a drug-induced frenzy, Pryor set himself on fire, causing severe burns all over his body. Although he survived, Pryor became a different person, no longer as strong as before, but instead a man full of pain, carrying both physical and emotional wounds. Jennifer, though still by his side, could do nothing but watch the man she loved gradually sink into darkness, beyond saving. After their divorce, Richard Pryor and Jennifer Lee remarried in 2001, when Pryor's health and spirit were almost exhausted. However, this reunion did not bring the happiness everyone hoped for but only prolonged the dark days. Pryor passed away in 2005, leaving behind a life that was both glorious and bitter. Jennifer Lee was not only a witness but also an important part of the greatest tragedy Pryor had to endure. 23. Derek Luke, movie star and a bitter marital tragedy. Derek Luke, a prominent actor with impressive roles in Antoine Fisher and Glory Road, has built a resounding career in Hollywood. However, behind that glamour, his marriage to Sofia Adela Hernandez, a singer and actress of Hispanic descent, is a story of inner turmoil and pain, concealing unspoken suffering. When Derek and Sofia married, they were once seen as a symbol of artistic love. Derek, a quiet and dedicated man, combined with Sofia, a radiant woman with a desire to stand out, created a perfect couple in the eyes of fans. However, that radiance quickly became a fire that burned Derek's career and life. Sofia, instead of being a peaceful haven for her husband, constantly pressured Derek to give up major roles to focus on her projects. Great opportunities in Derek's career were gradually missed, while Sofia's career did not flourish as she expected. The once promising relationship now became a burden, forcing both to face difficult decisions in life. Derek Luke, who was once wholeheartedly devoted to his family, did not receive the respect he deserved. On the contrary, he was always put at a disadvantage, facing criticism and pressure from his wife. The tragedy culminated one day when, in a fit of anger, Sofia bluntly said that Derek's career was not worth what she had to sacrifice. Those words were like a slap to his self-esteem, causing him to fall into a state of discouragement, exhaustion, and gradually lose his passion for acting. Feelings of loneliness and deadlock gradually engulfed Derek, leaving no way out. The love he had for Sofia, a relationship full of pain and loss, destroyed both his career and his mental health. 24. Ben Harper, musical genius and marital tragedy with Laura Dern. Ben Harper, with his soulful voice and deeply personal music, has left a significant mark on music lovers. However, his life is not only filled with success. In 2005, Ben married Laura Dern, a talented and sharp Hollywood actress. Their love story began like a beautiful dream, and the birth of their 2 children led people to believe they had built a happy, perfect family. But behind this picture was a turbulent journey that only they truly understood. However, the truth behind the spotlight was far different from what the public saw. Laura Dern, with her flourishing career, gradually became distant and demanded more from the relationship. Meanwhile, Ben immersed himself in music, something he considered his life's purpose. The contrast between these 2 souls began to erode their marriage. Laura, strong and decisive, felt abandoned when Ben spent most of his time composing and performing. And Ben, with a sensitive artistic soul, could not bear it when his partner could not understand and appreciate his passion. Simmering arguments and long nights of loneliness gradually turned their home into a psychological battlefield. Ben, although always trying to balance family and career, was driven to crisis by the fatigue and exhaustion from an unhappy marriage. Even an emotional performance could not save his soul. Laura, although she loved Ben, the vast differences in personality and outlook on life led them to part ways, despite the once passionate love. In 2013, when all attempts at reconciliation had failed, Ben Harper and Laura Dern decided to divorce quietly, without fanfare. Even so, this breakup was a powerful shock to Ben. He not only lost a wife, but also lost love, sharing, and a part of the deep passion in his music career. This marriage became an unhealable scar in the soul of the talented artist. 25. Hank Baskett, former athlete and a tragic marriage. Hank Baskett, with his talent and constant effort, had once conquered many peaks in his football career. However, his glory quickly faded when he entered a turbulent marriage with Kendra Wilkinson, a famous model and reality TV star. They married in 2009, when both were at the peak of their fame and careers, leading the public to believe they were an ideal couple. But behind those lights was a painful story. Although outwardly they always appeared as a perfect family, behind the glamorous photos was a series of ongoing tragedies. In 2014, news of Hank being accused of having a relationship with a transgender person erupted like a shock, shaking the public. Both his career and personal life were immediately dragged into the vortex of public opinion. Kendra, who always appeared with a bright smile on screen, gradually became unstable. This scandal not only fractured their relationship, but also pushed Hank into a deep mental crisis. He was criticized, ostracized, and seemed to lose everything: his career, reputation, and the trust of the woman he loved. Despite trying to recover and find a way to mend the relationship, Kendra could not overcome the pain that the betrayal brought. The overwhelming feeling of hurt prevented her from continuing with Hank. Finally, in 2018, Kendra decided to file for divorce, ending a turbulent love story in 2019. And those are the tragic stories of 25 black celebrities who once reached the peak but lost everything due to controversial relationships with white women. Sometimes love does not always bring happiness, but is sometimes the cause of unforeseen tragedies. What do you think about these stories? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss surprising and shocking stories in the next videos. Hollywood has countless mysteries waiting for you to discover.